Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Should you invest in XRP for retirement? There's a couple articles out today that got me thinking along these lines, and I thought it would make for a fun topic of conversation. The first one is from Bitcoinist.com, and this was titled, Should Millennials Invest in Bitcoin for their Retirement? And so they run through a number of things there that I do want to share with you. And of course, this is an XRP-centric channel, so I'm going to be coming at it from that perspective. And then take a look at this. Because what are the implications if you do? Well, here's another headline. Can the total crypto market cap hit $10 trillion by 2023? Because right now, as I record this, I actually haven't checked the market cap today, but I'm assuming it's somewhere in the neighborhood of close to 300 billion, probably a little bit shy of that. And that's not even, it's like a fraction of gold's market cap. It's because what's gold at now? I don't remember off the top of my head. Maybe it's 7 trillion or 8 trillion, something like that. It's just a massive number here. And if you're talking about the internet of value here, at least if you're an XRP community member, you're probably thinking along those lines because of actual XRP utility here. So I'll share with you thoughts on that. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button. Definitely appreciate it, but don't smash it. Only dorks smash the like button. And also, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, because if you do that, I would appreciate it. That's it for this video. Now, let's go ahead and dive in here. Again, this one's titled, Should Millennials Invest in Bitcoin for their Retirement? As the global pension crisis worsens, millennials are looking at novel retirement strategies to protect their retirement security. Will Bitcoin serve the purpose? Well, baby boomers and then Generation X popularized inflation-ridden investments in various retirement schemes that now are in crisis. Generation X had less money than baby boomers, and in turn, millennials have even less. Thus, compared with their parents, their retirement prospects are becoming increasingly alarming. And by the way, for those of you that don't know, I'm 36 years old right now. And so I'm still, I'm not that young, but I'm not that old. So I'm kind of in there, right there in the middle. And I understand the time value of money. I understand the importance of compounding interest. And so, for me particularly, and it just kind of depends on your mindset. Like, I see people with all sorts of different opinions on YouTube and on Twitter. Some people are so confident in what is to come with this asset class, and they're willing to take on substantially more risk than perhaps others, to the point where they have literally invested all of their net worth into crypto, and others have invested most into cryptocurrencies. And it just comes down like, what is your risk tolerance? Because to be clear here, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not offering financial advice with any of this. I just think this is a fun topic of conversation, so you shouldn't buy or sell anything because of what I'm talking about here. But, for someone like me, it doesn't matter how confident I am that this asset class is here to stay and that it's going to be valued in the trillions. I genuinely believe that. It doesn't matter that I believe it. It matters because I'm investing in it, but it's not enough to make me invest more than I'm investing. I'm only investing what I'm willing to lose because this is uncharted territory, and it just comes down to how much risk I'm willing to take on, because if I'm wrong, I could potentially lose everything I've invested in XRP. And again, I don't think that's going to be the case. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. Of course not. But it just comes down to, how am I going to be able to sleep tonight? Like, how much can I spend and still be able to sleep? And so that's where I'm coming at now. But I've also had an opportunity to accumulate at a steady pace for over 2 years, which I didn't realize I was going to have when I entered the world of crypto in 2017, right? November 2017 is when I joined. And you can see here's a chart now with the intergenerational wealth. They got a little, what's it say? So share of national wealth owned by each generation by medium cohort age. And so if you're not driving, feel free to take a look at that right now. It's basically what was being described here. And so here's a quote. Millennials haven't hit the 35 mark yet. That won't happen until about 2023. But their financial situation is relatively dire. They own just 3.2% of the nation's wealth. To catch up to Gen Xers, they need to triple their wealth in just 4 years. To reach boomers, their net worth would need a sevenfold jump. And, I don't know that this is necessarily as dire as they're making it out to be. It stands to reason that younger people on the whole, would have less money than people that have been accumulating money for a longer period of their life. So to me, I don't think that on its own is some sort of indication that there's some supreme problem here. Not that, at least. Right, and then it continues. In fact, millennials are already concerned about their retirement prospects. According to the National Institute on Retirement Security, NIRS, half of the millennials doubt they will be able to retire when they want to. And as they will live longer than their parents, they worry about outliving their retirement savings. And then here's another quote from the NIRS. More than 90% agree that the nation's retirement system is under stress and needs reform. Given that this generation has witnessed their parents struggle to make ends meet during retirement, their concerns about achieving retirement security, even though decades away, are warranted. And so a lot of people see XRP as a potential path forward. It's like a little shortcut, perhaps, if this goes the direction that we do think that it's going to go. And so, again, not going to tell you what to do. I can only share with you what I'm doing, what I see others doing as well. And I really believe that XRP and the crypto asset class is going to be worth substantially more. But part of the reason it's so fun for me to track the developments of the XRP ecosystem, what Ripple's doing and Coil and all the other developers, it's because I do have skin in the game. It makes it substantially more interesting. If I didn't, I don't think I'd have interest in tracking it, right? It's a lot more fun when you've got your own real money in this thing here. And so could it lead to just generational wealth? Well, it depends on how much you're investing and what your timeline is. Where is XRP ultimately going to go? Now, I think it's fun to talk conceptually about how high the price of XRP can go. And again, I don't make price predictions. From a technical perspective, it'll be worth whatever humans decide it's worth. There's a number of factors that will lead humans to make certain determinations, including supply and demand, real-world utility, all that good stuff here. But there's not an actual cap on it, on anything, on any stock price or gold or anything else. It's more about what's it likely to get to, and I just think it would be. I think it would be not exactly an enlightened position to assume that just because there hasn't been a single cryptocurrency on its own valued by $1 trillion or more, I think it would be foolish to assume that it cannot or will not happen. That's the position that I'm coming from. And I don't, as a matter of fact, know that's going to happen. But to me, if the promise of crypto, and that could be a lot of things to a lot of different people, but I think if the Internet of Value comes to fruition, as Ripple sees it, as it pertains to XRP, the implications would be staggering with multiple use cases, and it depends to what degree it's adopted, and as more people come in and invest, and so there's a lot of reasons for all this, and so that's why I think it's such a fun conversation. But why can't we have a 3-digit XRP price one day? It just depends. I don't know if it's going to happen for sure, but it just depends, and it depends the timeline you're talking about, because even if you're going to get there, would it take 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30, 40, I don't know. But because what you see right now with the run-up right now, it's so speculative and without, for most people, really meaningful understanding of real-world utility or where things are going, that the short-term action here, as exciting as it can be, it doesn't necessarily fundamentally mean anything here. Now, take a look at this. Tim Draper, millennials should invest in Bitcoin. Consequently, many are advising millennials to look at retirement schemes that differ from those of their parents' generation. For example, billionaire Tim Draper recommends to the younger generation that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are keys to a successful retirement, while accusing the banking industry of putting millennials in hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. Draper told Fox Business, "Cryptocurrency is the key to a successful retirement savings plan." And look, and I suspect that crypto asset class will outperform the S&P 500 over the next decade, but still, I feel like for me personally, I need to just, I think diversification is important regardless. It's just my opinion. I'm not the only one that has that opinion. I'd suspect that most financial advisors out there would probably have that opinion. It's kind of a bare bones opinion here. But for me, it's all about investing, diversifying. So for me, it's a lot of that just comes down to index funds and perpetually putting money, and understand there's going to be pullbacks, but on average, you got the last several decades or so with something like an 8% return. I think that's accounting for inflation too. I'd have to look it up again now. But that's a much more sure thing here. So it depends on how much risk you're going to be willing to take. I guess there's no right answer for anybody, but if you want a safer bet, I mean, technically it's stocks. It's not nearly as fun. It's not nearly as fun to track that. But that's why I keep thinking, if you were to just put everything that you have into crypto right now, which, most of us aren't going to do, and then you could fast forward 10 years and be like, lost opportunity. Okay, but realistically, how many of us are going to be willing to do that? It's the risk is too great for me and many others there. But if you're counting on XRP for your retirement, first of all, I hope that it goes in the direction that we think and hope that it will, because I want everybody to do well, of course, financially. But could you just put a massive amount into XRP right now and retire? Well, yeah. I mean, what if you put in hundreds of thousands of dollars right now, and then the price goes from what it is today at 27 cents all the way up to even its all-time high? I can imagine what that would do. And so it just depends how much you're putting in and what your time frame is. If you're putting in substantially less, and maybe you need to wait a little bit longer, but it's kind of a sliding scale there. So to me, that's always what it comes down to. I'm just going to keep holding, and I will never sell all of my XRP, though. So take a look at this part now, because what's the true potential here? And this got me thinking, too. Can the total crypto market cap at $10 trillion by 2023? And again, I won't pretend to know the timeline, but I could absolutely see the asset class as a whole being valued at $10 trillion at some point here. So here you go. Popular YouTube crypto analyst Benjamin Cowen has been considering the logarithmic regression band for the total cryptocurrency market cap in his latest video. And based on his analysis, thinks that the total digital asset market cap could hit $10 trillion during the next bull run. While it may sound like AI-generated musicians for psychotherapists to relax in, the logarithmic regression band... Love that stupid joke. That's a stupid... I like that. Oh, man. I like lame humor sometimes. But anyway, the logarithmic regression band is actually the range of values to which the crypto market tends to fall back when it is not in a bubble. It is represented by the green band on the chart below. The line forms a smooth curve over time when plotted against a logarithmic value scale. At the peak of the 2017 and 2018 bubble/burst cycle, the total crypto market cap came very close to $1 trillion. However, it has since fallen back to the regression band and currently stands at around $290 billion. Plotting the difference between the total market cap and the lowest point of the regression band over time shows that the peak levels are becoming lower with each market cycle. This supports the theory of diminishing returns over time, which I've talked about on this channel, the theory of diminishing returns. At some point, crypto could become as static as gold or the stock market, probably closer to gold if I had to guess. Because once the frenzy dies down, that's just how it will be. But still, that's why I always think there's going to be this opportunity for store of value. Anyway, assuming this behavior continues, we can project a potential peak level above the regression band for the next major bull run. As an example, Cowen projects this happening in 2022, but of course, it could be earlier or later than this if it happens at all. The potential outcome of this would be a total cryptocurrency market cap of around $10 trillion at the peak of the next bubble. In this scenario, market cap is likely to oscillate within the regression band for a while before starting its climb. And then they have this subheading here. But what about $100 trillion Bitcoin? Yes, according to Plan B's stock-to-flow model, the Bitcoin market cap alone is projected to go to $100 trillion. Cowen's $10 trillion market cap peak for the entire crypto market doesn't sound so impressive against that prediction. Of course, the $100 trillion Bitcoin is still some way off in the future. The projected price increases in the stock-to-flow model happen because of the artificial limiting of supply over time. The next halving will happen in May this year. However, the $100 trillion projection isn't due until another 2 halvings after that, or sometime in 2028. So, for now, a $10 trillion market cap by 2022 will have to do. Now, if it happens, if you're talking about $10 trillion by 2022, where's that going to put XRP? Probably substantially higher than it is today. Oh, man. It's fun stuff to think about, right? So I'd love to hear what you all think. Feel free to drop a comment below. I don't know that there's necessarily a right or wrong answer. I think that it's just more so people are going to do their best to figure out what's right for them. But I'll tell you what, I would feel worse for people putting massive quantities in at the peak of a bubble than I do now when we're not in a crypto asset class bubble. Because I'm fully confident that this bubble that has inflated and popped several times, or however many times it's been over the last decade, I'm fully confident, I believe, that it is going to inflate again. And XRP and every other crypto is going to come along for the ride. So, that's not a recipe for long-term sustainability, but that's why I always keep going back to, if you could fast forward out of the 5,000 cryptocurrencies in existence today, how many of those cryptocurrencies are still in any meaningful way going to be around? And that's why I always go back to utility here. So cool stuff to think about. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for stopping by. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!